Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Monster Energy Supercross 5. This is episode number 5. And it turns out that we had a three race contract window. And I did not meet the contract objective. So it looks like I'm going to be hunting for a new team now. But the game is obviously set to kind of help you out with that. All right, I don't have a lot, but before we get into this next race, I do have 7 points available. I still don't even know what a scrub is. The game hasn't done anything to help teach that to me, so thanks game. Reduces skills penalty during an injury. That might be useful. Probably braking skill, and that's a little on the more affordable side. They control in the air. I'm not getting solid control in the air, so we're gonna spend 2 points there. My new team is JMR Motorsport, and first time on the bike here is going to be for more training, more practice, and we're going to take the Lightning level 2. We did level 1 last time in one attempt after the previous thing was a little too much for us, and I was not ready for the start yet. It comes along so dang quickly here. That thing is about these low levels is it's pretty easy to come back past them even if you get a slow start. I like how in the real races there's a window, there's time. You're able to, because you're holding multiple buttons, you have to hit multiple buttons kind of pre-start. I hadn't even gone through that sequence yet. I wasn't even in gear yet, and it already started. So I need to be ready here on my second attempt, well, for the next level anyway. I need to be ready a little sooner. So let's prepare ourselves. I'm not going to talk my way through this. I need to concentrate on the sequence of buttons in order to be ready for the starts. This time I can get an actual decent start and get that whole shot much sooner. I mean, as they get faster and faster, I can't afford to be starting 2 seconds after everybody else, right? It's JMC Motorsport, by the way. Yeah, that first turn was a lot tighter than I thought it was when you first came up on it, and I very nearly overshot it. I had to brake pretty hard mid-turn. Luckily, I didn't wipe myself out, but we get through it, we pass, and we're on to the next training. I wasn't fully ready yet. I hate how fast it goes here, but we'll undercut these guys and get into a strong position here, but don't quite get the takeoff. Remote. Okay. Funny thing, I have a wireless remote attached to my PC. I'm not playing on a PlayStation or an Xbox. I play on my PC, and I have an Xbox remote. My wireless receiver is 99% effective. Every once in a while, I lose the remote for 2, 3, maybe 5 seconds. It just happened there as we were approaching the end. Luckily, I did not crash off, and they did not catch up. Attempt complete. We got first place again. That's 4 levels passed on the Lightning. We'll give a shot at one of the other training events next time. All right, so I have another one of those events like we had at the before the first race of the season, where it's only officially licensed riders, as in they have a team, and that means it's better riders than what we go up against in some of the races. Therefore, I don't stand much of a chance. I'm just here to get some race experience. Not much to show you. You might get a little time lapse of it, but otherwise I'll be moving straight on to practice at our next event. remember when I did this before the first race? You can see how much progress we've made. I got lapped a zillion times on that one. And this is the same track. It's the exact same track. And the guys I'm racing against, I recognize some of the names from watching the Seattle race this last weekend. I'm racing against the 450 riders. So I am massively overmatched. They are way, way, way faster and way high skill levels, AI skill levels, than the guys I normally race. And yet, I'm holding my own fairly well. I mean, I'm 37 seconds down, but I've not been lapped over many, 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 many laps that I've covered. I have not been lapped by the back end of the field yet. Been lapped by the leaders, but only once. They have not gotten to me a second time, though they are coming. They are definitely coming. They're getting a lot closer now. But for me, the hardest thing is right here because I can't get up into fifth gear with enough momentum to make any use of it. And fourth gear does not get you over that jump. And all of them are clearing that quad. There's Haymaker, the leader, getting ahead of me. Finally, I hit that rhythm again. I've been kind of missing that one lately, but he's got a hefty lead, or at least he did when he lapped me last time. That was a good 7 minutes ago, last time he lapped me, but his lead has shrunk significantly as Brown has caught up to him. You can see how they just fly over that, and I don't. I'm making this jump fairly well, most laps, and I'm hitting everything else fine, but that cost me a little extra time. But I've had very few errors overall. I've only crashed, I don't know, 4 times. I've only lost the track, you know, a few other additional times. So all in all, I've had a nice clean race here. There's 4 minutes left in it. Making this jump, which I was definitely not making last time. Now, my skill has improved. There's Lawrence. I saw Lawrence riding, first, second that Seattle race for quite a while. Wow, that thing just fishtailed like crazy there. I got no traction, and that was the last race where if you're coming out of a corner and don't have a balance, that's one of those harder ones where you don't necessarily have what you need, and so you've got to have that firm traction as those two crash into each other. That's the furthest I've actually gotten on that jump, most momentum I've had entering. Ooh, hit in the air by Swole, but okay, did not crash. That's Swole and Cooper. That's who I had passed me and then smashed into each other. Took each other out. My gap is now. I haven't seen it in a while. You can see how long I've lasted running with these guys. I mean, these are top 10 riders. Enough that time. I didn't realize where I was until it was a little late. Yeah, okay, I'm still 39 seconds down. I'm losing ground on the top 10, and now I'd say it probably down to about 14, 15, but the very back end of the field I'm not losing ground on. Too much. Yep, set off that one. Gotta ease off on that one. Oh, Mumford just lapped me. That's Mumford right there. The guy right in front of me is the one who is the next position down. So he has finally lapped me. It's a short track though. It's a short track. And he, like everybody else, is making the quad, which I can't make. I don't know if you remember there. too tight to the inside, so by the time I got on the gas, I couldn't build enough momentum. Land on his head! Totally threw off my landing. Missed it by a long shot. That's the closest I've come to making that jump quad. That alone cost me a lot of time, but you can see I don't have the speed. Even with very few mistakes, I don't have the speed compared to these 450 guys. Mumford crashed. That's allowed him to come back at me. Could I unlap myself from this tail end 450 rider? 2 laps to go till the end. You can see how he just makes it over the quad compared to everybody else, but he still makes it. I'm not. So it says a lot about, you know, the battle I'm facing here, trying to keep up with even the last place guy. Oh, Haymaker just lapped me again. Right there at the end. So I'd only been lapped 3 times maybe, and then right at the end I just got lapped again. No, that was the 3rd lapping. So that right at the finish line caused me to have 1 less lap. Otherwise I would have been 1 lap down on Crown, 1 lap down on Mumford, 2 laps down on everybody else. But at the very, very, very last corner, Haymaker came through and took the victory. But look at the times. Look at the times. Look how competitive this was. This is against a 450 field. 39.875 is the fastest lap for Pierce Brown. But we're looking at 40s. Everybody's in the 40s except these last 2 riders, the ones that got lapped. So Joey Crown and Carson Mumford at 42. For me, just under 43.5. And I was pretty dang consistent. I really only had probably 2 out of 22 laps that were bit off the pace by more than about a second or so. I was running 43s, 44s consistently for probably 20 out of 22 laps. And those 2 laps, you know, we're talking about a few extra seconds, and came down to the biggest crashes of the day that I had. So all in all, I'm actually impressed by the improvement that I've had from the last time I did this event till this time. Seeing a track again and again, running some extra laps, it helps. It really helps. So I'll get there. I will get there, especially if I can keep up with the 450s for the most part. I mean, to only be lapped twice, outside of, you know, the last moment, to only be lapped twice and only be lapped once by the back end and just behind Mumford there. Yeah, I mean, I was 45 seconds down. That was it. Okay, progress. Before I get into the race, there are some skills available. I should move the camera, but we're okay. Behind me, cornering, I'm getting the last one available. These level 5s that now you can see, the pink diamond there, unlock in the pro chapter. So that means we can only get the first 4 levels of everything. So bike control and cornering are maxed out for now. Let's go ahead and get the physical resistance maxed out as well. We have 3 left. It's going to cost us 2. Yes. Braking power. I don't know what the scrub does, but we're going to allow for cleaner scrubs. Sure. So we're back in Arlington again, but it is definitely a different track. okay, different track, different circumstances. Let me get to practice and we'll see how we're doing at the end. My guess, though, is it's going to be probably just as tight as the last one was. In fact, there's a lot more interior stuff going on in this one, so it might be even tighter. Less jumps overall, though. I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, it's a little bit easier. You can only do so much practice before you have to just simply accept defeat. Here's the thing about this track. Not only am I 6.5 seconds off the pace, that is by far my best lap. I'm easily 10 seconds off the pace from the back end of the field for every stinking lap on this course. I hate this track. Hate it. And it's not so much the track, it's how my rider reacts to it. So I was telling you not long ago that I'm starting to get a feel. I'm really starting to get a feel for the rider, for the circumstances, how to ride. I have no feel for this track at all. You come in straight, hit a jump, and land totally sideways, even though you're straight in the air, and fly off the bike. You go through a whoop, and it's got one tricky spot where you're coming out of the whoops into a 90-degree right-hander. Wow, that's a challenge. I've hit it right a number of times. I've had some serious issues with it. This, on the surface, feels like it should be a much easier track than so many of the others. And yet, it is the most complicated one that I've dealt with. And it doesn't feel like it should be that way. And yet, I can't get any of it right. And in order to have enough acceleration on so many of these jumps, you have to be in second. In third, you're bogging down and you can't get enough bite to accelerate. And by the time you get enough bite, it's way too late and you have no momentum. So you have to get all the way down, way down into second gear. But there are some run-up areas where you definitely want to be in third gear, but then you're in these tight corners that immediately turn into jumps, and there's just, for whatever reason, even though I'm getting close to leveling up for the 250 level to where you need to be, I can't hardly hit. There's triple jumps where I can't even barely make the double, and everybody else is making the triple. I can't get enough bite. I can't get enough purchase with the bike. Is it because I'm on a new team and this new bike handles differently? Whatever is going on, I can't get it. I've practiced for more than an hour, and I cannot get a run without crashing 3 times. So I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to last long amongst the field. As long as I can, I'll last, but we're going to very, very quickly go into a time lapse on this one and just get it over with, because I despise this track at the moment. Or at least how I can't come to grips with it. Wow. Well, that was fast. Tiniest bump between myself and the other rider, and I flew sideways 8 feet. We barely touched, and I flew sideways 8 feet. Straight to the bed. Thanks to that one. It's hard coming out of there, and I have to slow down a lot more than the others to get control. That one's a super slow. This one, I constantly get overbite and oversteer like that. The oversteer that you get coming off of these corners so often. And that I never can make this one, and everybody else easily makes that triple. gotta be slow through there, otherwise you just overshoot that turn massively. It's slow, tight turns constantly, and this thing doesn't turn. You go max with it, and it misses constantly. That's so ridiculous. Everybody else lands that just fine, and I cannot land that for the life of me. I told you, I crashed 3 times a lap. Alright, I'm already well off the back, and I've barely just reached the end of lap number 1, and that was 117. I told you 109 was the rarity. 117, yeah, that's about normal. And everybody else is running about a 102, so I'm losing 15 seconds a lap. Normally, 10 seconds on a good lap. I'll be honest with you, I actually ran the best lap that I've ran in that whole hour of practice.
Which will have to compete for the last slots in the LCQ.
Got me within 6.5 seconds of the back end, and I only finished 1 lap down, but it's so tough. So tough, that course. I didn't have a single clean lap. I just had really the one where I think I only crashed once. And put the other sequences together a little bit better than what I normally do, but it's like every single section of the track I'm losing time. There's nowhere, except for maybe the whoops, that I'm not losing time, but even the exit from the whoops I'm losing a tenth or two. The AI is supposed to be dynamic. They're supposed to adjust to how you ride, and I've already seen that the whole shot, right? The starts. I'm good at the starts, so they got tougher. So now I'm middle of the pack instead of the front of the pack on the starts. But they haven't slowed down. They haven't eased off for me everywhere else, and I end up way off the back. But for now, hey, we're still in the pack here as I get totally wiped out. I got hit not once but twice on that one. First one turned me sideways. The second one, as I corrected and regained, control of the bike, somebody then clipped me from behind and just totally took out the rear tire. And that puts me into last for now, though. We are back ahead of Jose. Still battling with Blose and then 2 riders that took each other out. And again, I just get clipped at it mid-air, and that kills my momentum and leaves me way short of where I needed to be. Archbank's one of the better runners here. By the way, I mentioned that the special event was 450 riders. It's not. It's all the top 250 riders. Anybody who was there outside of the back 1 or 2 riders were all top-end guys in the field. There, it would be nice to be able to hit 3rd gear coming into that one, but I just can't seem to get enough purchase when I do try to get 3rd gear. All through practice, I would try, and every time I would hit 3rd gear, I just couldn't get enough acceleration. The 2nd gear gives me enough acceleration that I almost make the jump. from second. But from third, I end up well short because that's what drives me nuts here. I barely touch the top end of the jump, and I just fall right off. I have no control on the landing. Everybody else is much stronger when it's landing. There, I'm straight on, and then it launches me to the right-hand side. It's just over and over again. It's just a nightmare to try to get a couple jumps in a row straight on and not have issues. Finally, I'm off the back and well behind now. 11 seconds back, but this is still better than what I was doing before, with the exception that I can't actually get a good lap put together. Again, I'm lined up what feels like straight on, and then it just launches me to the left-hand side. Alright, I have my weight distributed evenly. It looks like I'm going to go straight forward, and then it doesn't. It would be nice to be able to make that one as a triple, because then it would set you up for the double, but I just can't ever get enough of that one. 2 laps to go. So it's just, one should be around. You get the tiniest little touch, and there's just no chance to build momentum whatsoever. That one, at least I know and understand my error, and it feels better when you know and understand why you struggle versus there's nothing you can do about it and you just feel hopeless. Again, no matter what you do there, the moment you touch the gas, there's just no traction there. That corner, I just have no hope getting it up the right traction. I miss. Ooh, gosh, that was getting squirrely. normal jump, normal landing, turn left, and plunk, just rear's gone instantly. Alright, let's time lapse the rest of this ugly mess and call it a day, because even when you hit the right spot, the right way, you still can't get anything going. Just, this is the no momentum, just ugly mess of a race. I'm so ready to leave this track behind. We'll see you next year. So I'll be back in the 250s for sure. Obviously, I'm not getting promoted like this. I'll be honest with you, 25 seconds off the back feels like a small amount compared to what it could be, but I still end up having that mess just to get lapped a second time at the end. That was the guy who was last place in the first heat, and he ends up winning the last chance qualifier, so good on him for that, but that's
the Monster Energy
7 seconds off the pace.
Continues.
What a nightmare course for me. It was bound to happen eventually. This just doesn't feel like the course is that difficult, but I cannot get the rider in the right kind of shape to put any momentum, any sequence together that works. When you throw in those last 2 results, that was an hour and a half. It was an hour and a half of riding, or close to an hour and a half anyway, and nothing, not one quality lap. Ouch. Ouch, ouch. Big ouch. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I am so happy to move on to the next round, just to leave this mess behind and forget about it. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.